Welcome to my Mounjaro weekly update. Coming up, moving up in dose and some side effects. A weight loss jab's about to get a lot cheaper for us all. My diet, exercise and what impact that's had on the scales. Tips, news, advice, questions, queries and more from the community news. But first, let's get straight on into the waffle section. How did you all? If you've been here before, welcome back. If you haven't, I'm Phil. Now we're going to start the waffle section this week about from saying thank you to all those who reached out after last week's video with all the positive comments, all the supportive comments, and they've really helped me get ready to go into this booze break in a really fantastic and positive mindset. So thank you everyone for that. Without giving too many spoilers away for the weekly update coming later on, I gotta say I've had a great week and thank you all for those comments. I said it back to most of you in the comments, or a lot of you in the comments, that a great community we've built here where you can get support from people you don't know, but we can all help each other. You're helping me this time. I see you're all helping each other. The comments are a fantastic place for some support and advice if you need it, guys. So thank you. I read so many comments all the time of you congratulating each other, well-wishing each other, offering advice to each other, tips to each other. It's just a great space we've managed to build here. It really is something I'm so proud to be a part of. And one more time, thank you so much. Now, there's a couple of other things I'd like to mention coming off those comments, and that is a few of you, a good few of you, said you could relate to where I was coming from with the drink, and you were going through very similar yourself. You said it, you experienced a loss, a bit of a plateau. You weren't losing the weight you wanted, the same as me, and now you've had a little look at yourself as well. You think it probably is the booze, as I have. We don't realize how much it quite is impacting. Now, let's not get confused here about drinking on weight loss medication. You can, of course, drink on weight loss medication, and a lot of people are having fantastic results while they're still drinking. But what they're doing is they're drinking in moderation or on occasions, whereas I'd slip back into the habit of drinking 2, 3, 4 times a week. And the ones who've said the same, they were doing a similar. It adds up quickly. You'd have 2 or 3 cans one night, 2 or 3 cans another night. It adds up quickly, and it is having a massive impact on our weight loss journeys as well as other things in life in general. Not only are you boosting your calories, but you're then probably making bad choices. If you got a little bit too much to drink, maybe the next day you feel like you need something stodgy, so you need something you probably wouldn't if you hadn't drank. There's other things your body, like I believe, slows your metabolism down, things like that. So there is a great benefit to not drinking to excess. And like I said, don't get it confused with not being able to drink. You can drink, you can still lose weight. You just got to be sensible, unlike I wasn't being. Following on from that, the second thing I'd like to mention, and it's in a similar vein, quite a few said you'd like to take a break as well yourself, you'd like to do it, and a few even said, the likes of Jordan and Ian, you're going to join me in a virtual pact to give up the booze. Not going to hold it to you guys. If you have, and if you are doing, congratulations, let's do it together. So basically what I'm going to do now each week, as well as in the weekly update, as I mentioned, the no booze part. It won't be this week, it'll be starting from next week. And I'll just mention, been a week without a drink, or, been 2 weeks without a drink. How did it feel? Did I think about having a drink? Did I not want to have a drink? We'll see. And it might be the same for you guys, and you can always drop it in the comments and let me know how you're getting on, and we can keep cheering each other along. So Ian, Jordan, anyone else who said they'd like to go along with me, feel free to follow along on the next few weeks and months. Now, moving on from that, I'd just like to say, for some reason, whatever reason it is, I'm not entirely sure whether it was just a bit of a YouTube tech issue, but a lot of the comments from the first few days have only popped up 5 days later, 6 days later for me to see now. I don't know why they weren't there when I was looking. I try and keep on top of the comments as much as I can. I try and answer every single one. Think I've gone back and covered all those 5 or 6 days. If I've missed you, I really apologise. Yeah, I'm assuming it's just some type of bug or issue with comments in YouTube videos earlier this week. Another thing I'd like to cover from last week's video is the needle disposal. I got told off a good few times for this by various people throughout the chat. Apparently a waste bin and the landfill or the tip's not a place to be. I completely hold my hands up. I didn't realise that. Maybe I should have. Maybe I've been a little bit irresponsible, as I was told by a few. But yeah, I wasn't aware of that. And we have found out that lots of local councils will take them in or collect them from you. If not, they might suggest a company that works for them and they'll come collect them for you. Or some pharmacies will also take them as well. So I hope that's helped everyone there to figure out what to do with the needles going forward. Let's not put them in a landfill, because Phil will get shouted at. Another thank you, and that was thank you to everyone who tried or tested the hype feature. I say tested or tried to find the hype feature on my videos. For whatever reason, it's not showing. I have got it turned on in the settings. It's just not there. People who did try and find it for me said they've done it on other videos, so it's it's not a user setting. They got it on other videos, not on mine. I'm sure it'll turn up at some point in the future. I believe hype's becoming the new big thing. I don't know if it's meant to replace liking videos, but hype is the new big thing that YouTube are all talking about. And all it does is it recommends the video to other people who want these type of videos. So that's why I'm kind of interested in it. It'd be good to push it to other people who are interested in this kind of information and these kind of updates with tips and advice and stuff like that. So it'd be good to use once it finally becomes available on the channel. Now, next up, you're not going to believe it, but if you look over here, is a screenshot of the £100 YouTuber are going to send me. I've not had it. I've got to wait 60 days for it, but it's coming. So turning on channel memberships actually means I'm going to get £100 of basically free money. It took me a couple of minutes to set the memberships up off YouTube, so it was really worth doing. Again, don't join it. There's nothing worthwhile there, guys, but I'm getting £100 out of it, so that really was worthwhile doing. Speaking of benefits, and down in the description below is a link to Voy, my provider for Mounjaro, and they've just changed the way my discount now works for all you guys if you want to use it on your first order. Instead of getting 25 or 30% off your first Mounjaro Wegovy order, you'll now get a flat rate of £50 discounted off your first order. That's on Mounjaro or Wegovy or their Wegovy 3 and 6 months plans, and what that means is you'll now be able to see exactly how much it's going to cost you by looking at the cost of the first month's order, knocking 50 quid. Knocking £50 off, the inner scouser on me coming out there, but knocking £50 off and you know exactly instead of having to work out the percentage. So you want a discount of £50 off your first Mounjaro or Wegovy order, link in the description below to Voy. Also linked down below are some Amazon links to the arm or chest press or electrolyte tablets or peppermint tea or things like that that I've started using on Amazon. Again, if you order from there, guys, I'll get a small percentage. It is literally pennies each order, costs you no more, it just comes out of Amazon's cut. So if there's anything down below that you want, check it out each week and there'll be some stuff down there you can click on. So moving on from some benefits there, we're going to move on to some tips. Now, one again, as always, is the more basic tip, which, you know, is good for anyone who's new to starting Mounjaro and might not be aware of. And one's a more advanced or a more unknown tip each week, and I'm going to cover this. Speaking of tips, you might have noticed it pop up as a YouTube short, and it was the actual video from last week, but I've just condensed it into a short because sometimes people do just want quick tips or quick bits of advice and they don't want to listen to me waffling on like this for a whole video. So I'm just going to start putting the tips into a separate little short each week. Obviously, if you watch the full video, you don't need to watch it. This week's first tip fits in nicely to last week's video on what I've been covering, and it's around your journey. If you do have a bad day, a bad night, a bad week on drinking alcohol or eating bad foods, and you do fall off the wagon, don't beat yourself up too much. This is a long, hard, tough journey, and few will go along it without hitting some bumps in the road. Enjoy the moment, enjoy the day, the week, however long it may be, then shake it off and start again. This is a tough journey, as I've said. It's not a magic bullet, it's not some quick overnight fix, as we know it's not, and some people think it is. We know it isn't, but we also know how to get back on once we've fallen off the wagon and keep going. I'd just like to say thanks to Brad for reminding me of that. Now, the second tip this week is about moving up in dose. You don't have to. The amount of people who leave me a comment saying, oh, Phil, I'm moving up in dose next week. I really don't want to. I'm feeling so comfortable where I am. It's really working well for me. Say no. It's your choice, especially with private providers. Tell them no, you're staying on the dose you're on. They can't make you. It is up to you. Most of the time, they're trying to push the price up and get more money out of you. Not all the time. I'm being a bit cynical. But again, if it's a GP insisting you move up in dose, ask them why. Ask them to give you a reason as to why they think you should move up in dose and explain that you're happy where you are. Some GPs don't even know you don't have to move up in dose. It's still a fairly new medication. But just say, no thank you, I'm happy where I am for at least another 4 weeks, and take it from there. And don't forget, some people have fantastic results never moving up from 2.5 milligrams. Let's move on now though to some highs and hello from all of you lovely lot. First up this week, hi to Tom from Bolton, which is just down the road from me here in Liverpool. It's not too far away. And Tom is 2 weeks now, which will nearly be 3 weeks into his journey, and has lost a fantastic 15 pounds during that first 2 week spell. So congratulations, Tom, for a fantastic couple of weeks results. But also, Tom is one of those that found the channel late. He's only just started watching it and decided to binge watch every one of the videos. Tom, I think you must be absolutely crazy listening to my whiny waffle. You think you were saying 4 or 5 videos a day without losing the plot, mate. But thank you anyway. Glad you enjoyed them. Hello next to Alara, and Alara is 1 week into her Wegovy journey. Now, Alara has been on Mounjaro for quite a while. She's lost a fantastic 2.5 stone during that time. You moved over to Wegovy now, Alara, and you're saying you're not found any impact in the first week. Bear with it. I know I've had other people who said it took 2 to 3 weeks to start getting the full suppression, the food noise to go away week. You've probably had a really tough week. Second week might not be much better, but stick with it. You're only a few pounds off getting down to maintenance weight, and that's what your plan was with Wegovy anyway, so good luck, Alara. Hi next to James, and James is just about to start his Mounjaro journey. He found the channel last week with that was the first video he saw, and he said he's in a similar boat when it comes to alcohol. He's hoping to not watch the match anymore with a few beers. He's hoping Mounjaro's going to stop that for him. I'm sure it will, James. Good luck on the start of your journey, mate, and keep us posted how it goes. And finally this week, I just want to say hello to Dreen. Dreen has been a long time follower of the channel. She leaves so many positive and helpful comments for people in the community, especially for me, and she left me a really nice one this week, as a lot of you did. But I just want to say hello to Dreen. I'm glad it's going really well for you, Dreen. That is all the time I've got left for waffling this week. If you want to mention in next week's waffle section, come and say hi or hello in the comments, and it could be you mentioned. Time now though for the community news. I'm going to start this week's community news with what I teased at the very beginning of this video, and that is, are medication weight loss drugs about to become a lot cheaper for us? Potentially yes is the answer, and it could be as early as the start of 2026. Let me explain a little bit more. The reason for this is down to the medication's patents. Now, if we use Novo Nordisk as an example, the patent on Wegovy and Ozempic, which they make, is about to expire in several big companies. That includes Canada, China, Brazil, Turkey, and India, to name a few. Now, that happens at the beginning of the next year. When that happens, other pharmaceutical companies can make a generic version of Ozempic and Wegovy, and then based on that, they can start selling that for a much cheaper price than Novo Nordisk do. Now, in the story that I was reading, Medicines UK is the company that represents generic pharmaceutical companies who make this generic type of medication, and they said they could see prices falling from as much as 70 to 90%, meaning potentially you could get Wegovy or Ozempic for as little as £20 per month. Now, here in the UK, the patent doesn't expire till 2031, but what Medicines UK explained is that when they become available in those other countries I mentioned before, and a generic version for much cheaper, even though they can't sell it here, people will probably find a way to get hold of it, whether like going on holiday there or getting it imported or getting people to send it over to them. People always do find a way. What Novo Nordisk will probably do is reduce their price quite drastically so they can stay competitive in the UK market instead of running the risk of no one buying it here at all. So that does look like potentially 2026 could be a really good year for cheapening weight loss medication as opposed to the really big sting in the tail we've had here in the UK, with the prices shooting up for Eli Lilly and Mounjaro this year, which has left a lot priced out the market. Now, that also means in other countries where you pay a lot more than the UK already, they could see a drastic drop in price for their medication where they've been overpaying way more than we have already anyway. So it's one to definitely keep an eye on, and fingers crossed for us all next year, guys. Now, next up, I've got a question from Dolly, and it's one I've not heard mentioned in any comments before over the time I've reading on this channel. And it is, Dolly just started a Mounjaro journey, and she was 5 days in when she posted this comment asking a question, and she was asking about restless leg syndrome. Does anybody seem to have started suffering with it since you started the injection? I'm assuming you didn't before you took the injection, Dolly, and that's why you're asking, but it's not one I've had, not one I've seen anyone mention, but anyone started getting restless legs since they've been on Mounjaro? Leave it in the comments and let Dolly know if you have, thanks. That is it, however, for this week's community news. If you've got any tips, questions, advice you'd like to share with everyone else, if you've got any questions you'd like answering from the community, pop it in the comments of this week's video and we'll cover as many as we can next week. Time now for my weekly update. But just before we go into that, if you're finding this useful, insightful, or you're just enjoying it and having fun, and you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the video down below. Thank you. So where do I start though with this weekly update? Last week's was not much fun to do. It was more all negative. This week, I went to the 40th. I drank some Guinness on the Saturday. I had some pizza and probably some crisps, I think, on the Sunday and some nuts. And yeah, that wasn't great either. And I finished 3 Guinness in the fridge on the Sunday. You're thinking, Phil, you said this was good. That was Saturday and Sunday. I woke up Monday with a whole new positivity, mentality, drive, and a lot of it came from the fantastic comment I mentioned earlier on from all of you lot. It's given me a new determination. I'm full of positivity. Even though I'm a positive person, I can feel it this week. And yeah, I'm back on the meals of Greek yogurt, nuts, berries, things like that for breakfast, Huel shakes, salads for lunches. Dinner's back to my chicken and rice, but without all the sauces and things this time, just back to hot sauce. So you'll all be bored of that. I won't go into that. No drinks, no snacks, no bad things, just good foods. It's been fantastic. Exercise, I've upped the level a bit. I've been out on 3 or 4 long 1-hour walks. I've had a 20-minute run. I've been doing the arm chest exercise thing twice a day. Lots of reps on that. There's been some push-ups, sit-ups, not every day. Steps are averaging around 16,000 a day, which is fantastic. And yeah, I'm going to increase that over the next week or two. I'm going to push it a little bit more, but I'm feeling brilliant. I really am. I know it's only 4 days, but I'm feeling fantastic. Now, I'm not sure if this ties into my dose where, if you remember last week I said I was moving up to 7.5 milligrams Sunday evening or Sunday night before bed as I did. And that's what I've done. Got to 7.5 milligrams. Last time I did it, I lasted a week and went back to 5 milligrams every 5 days, I think. I didn't feel it felt any different, but something feels different this time. Whether it's my mindset, whether it's my positivity or anything. Yeah, I've gone up to 7.5 milligrams. Now, what did happen on the Monday is I had a bad headache, I had an upset stomach, and I had nausea for most of the day. I've not had a couple of bits of those other side effects. I've never had nausea on Mounjaro, and so it was the first time. That went away Tuesday, where I started the headache all day Tuesday, and by Wednesday, everything had gone. So if they were side effects related to Mounjaro, which I think they were gone. But wow, the suppression is back, guys. And I mean, is it psychological? I don't think so. I generally think it is. The suppression's back to early months level. I haven't finished my evening meal, my dinner, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. I haven't left much. I think Monday I left nearly half. Tuesday I left about a third, and Wednesday I left about a third. And it was just the rice and chicken, which I'd been polishing off now the full plate for months. So the food suppression is back. My energy levels, I don't know if you can tell in this video, I feel really, I don't want to say pumped up. It sounds stupid saying that, but I feel like just really energetic. The energy levels are are really up again. My mood's as good as it's been in a good while. Again, I know it's only 4 days, this might change, but yeah, is it a dose? I think it's a bit of everything. I think it's knowing I'm coming off the booze again, and knowing I've had a really good week, some supportive comments from all you. Getting everything off my chest last week probably helped. I feel like I'm back on track. I feel like things are going really well, even if it's only 4 or 5 days. My only regret is I probably didn't step up to 7.5 milligrams earlier in the year. But what has that done to the results then? If you remember last week on Wednesday 24th, I increased in weight quite substantially. I went up to 16 stone 9 pounds. That's around 233 pounds, or around 106 kilos roughly. This Wednesday, the 1st of October, I got on the scales. I weighed 16 stone 5 pounds, 229 pounds, or around 104 kilos. So that is £4 or 2 kilos off, and it's exactly what I'd put on last week. So, you know, it's not a huge celebration, but it does mean I've wiped that off in probably 4 or 5 days. Probably just resetting back to probably where I was at. But what a fantastic way to end a brilliant end to the week, if that all makes sense. I feel like it's gone really well. It's like the icing on the cake to a good week for me. You know, the £4 off, brilliant results. I'm over the moon with that. And what I do plan to do now, as I said, slightly increase the exercise. Not by much, I'm not going to go over the top, so where I end up burning out really quickly. But I want to get down to 16 stone as quickly as possible and set a goal for before Christmas. If you remember, I did that before my holiday and it all fell apart, sort of. I want a new goal before Christmas, so that could be coming soon, guys. Now, one other thing I want to cover this week, and it was the Whoop band. I know I talked about it. I've had it for just over 2 weeks now on a 4-week trial from Whoop. First 2 weeks I thought it was pointless. I really didn't see much benefit from it. It gives you lots of insights, but a lot I don't really need. And a lot of it was just telling me I was in red for recovery, red for sleep, because I was drinking, I was not exercising, I wasn't looking after myself at all during those 2 weeks. This 4 days, it's giving me a lot more information. It's also calibrating, knows me a bit more. And I will ever feel like it's worth it. At the moment, I don't feel like it's worth doing a full review on it, guys. And I won't be keeping it in 2 weeks' time when it's got to go back. I'll just be paying the £6 to send it back. But at the moment, it's improved drastically this week. It's got a week and a half maybe to change my mind. So it's got to go back. I can't see it happen at the moment. It's a very expensive device. And it's giving me much more detail than the watch does. But the watch gives me so much more than just stats and graphs on sleep and health and recovery stuff. So yeah, not looking likely going to keep it, guys, but if I do think it's worthwhile, I might still do a review anyway, just to tell you what I thought of it. As always though, if there's anything you want to discuss in next week's video or a future video, or there's suggestions of a video you'd like me to do, stick it in the comments. If you've got any advice, tips, questions or queries, stick that in the comments and we'll try and cover as much as we can next week. But for now though, again, if you found this useful or insightful, or you just enjoyed it and you haven't, please like and subscribe to the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all your support. Keep up your fantastic hard work. Get back on the wagon if you fall off it. If I can do this, you can do this. We can all do this. I'll see you next week.